This is the Human AI Experience, a space for creative minds shaping the future, empowering you with the right tools, insights, and real-world stories to harness AI and elevate your creative work.
So, on today's show, we have two special guests, and I would like you to introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Danny. It's great to be here, Danny and Mateus. It's weird to call you guys like this, but because we are all Brazilian and we all know each other. I worked with you, Danny, like years ago in our hometown in Porto Alegre, south of Brazil. So yeah, basically I'm from south of Brazil, and yeah, 10 years later, 10 years ago actually, I moved to São Paulo and I met this guy here, Lucas, and we started working together. So it's been a long-term partnership, and we've been working in advertising agencies for a long time. We worked like in 7 different agencies, I think, 5 in Brazil and now 3 in the US. So we moved to Boston almost 4 years ago and worked in one agency, and then we moved to New York, and now we are here in San Francisco working for could be Silverstein, an iconic agency, like 40 years old agency here, super legendary, with these guys like Jeff Goodby and Reed Silverstein. So yeah, we are super happy here.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for having us here. It's an honor. It's a pleasure. We love podcasts, so every time that we had the chance to be highlighted in one, like we really like it. So thank you so much. Yeah, I'm from Rio. I'm the copywriter of the team. As Kazu said, like we've been working together for 10 years. Before that, I also worked 10 years in Rio. And yeah, I love poetry. So I don't know, like just a few things of myself. Yeah.
Thanks, guys, for coming here to our podcast. I want to just to understand a little bit about your background. Uh, what led you guys to work in the advertising?
Okay, yeah, this is great because I actually started playing with my dad's computer because he was Japanese. He is Japanese. He was one of the first people I knew that had a computer, and he had already like Photoshop and CorelDRAW. So I started like playing with the softwares really early, uh, long before all my friends. So when I joined, I completed 18 years old, and in Brazil it's mandatory to sign up for the army, and I was selected to join, so I joined the army. It was my first work experience. So in the army, they asked, "Okay, does anyone know how to use Photoshop because we need a graphic designer?" And I was the only one, like 100 people, like, yeah. Who knows how to cook? Yeah. Who knows how to like paint a wall? Yeah. Who knows how to use Photoshop? I was the only one. And then I joined this almost communication section in the army, and we were responsible to work in the events and to do a newspaper. So I was the graphic designer for this, and I would take pictures of the events and helping writing the news and everything. So that was my first experience. When I left the army, I joined, the next day I joined an advertising agency, super small, but I saw the environment was, of course, completely different. People like listen to music and having fun, making jokes all the time. So it was super fun, and I was stoked, like, yeah, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And then I started.
Awesome.
Well, for me, it's a little bit different. Uh, I I actually didn't know what to do in college. I was really lost, as almost everybody is, right? And I don't know. I talked to some teachers, to some professionals, and advertising was something that was like, yeah, kind of I related to, like. But then, well, I started college, was my only option. And then when I started, I saw like a bunch of of my friends, they were super creative, funny people. It was like, yeah, they're gonna work in like in the creative department. It's not for me, you know. I was super scared of trying, at least. So first, I got a job in marketing, the marketing department. It's a huge laboratory in Rio. It's called Sergio Franco. It's you know, this kind of like blood work laboratory, and it was like an amazing experience. Amazing experience. I worked with a guy, and his family owns an agency in Rio called Artiplan, and he was super experienced, and he encouraged me a lot to learn about advertising, about creativity. And at some point he fired me saying, "Guy, I don't think it's for you. I think you should try. I think you should try like to be a creative, to be a copywriter. We see that you're very into creativity, so you should give a try." I was like, yeah, as now I don't have a job, so I think this is what I'm gonna do. So I put some pieces together, like my portfolio, start building my portfolio, and talked to like a few agencies. I think the second agency hired me, and was a really small agency. But I had an amazing experience. After 2 months, it was like, oh, it's not for me. It's too small. So I had a chance to move to a medium agency in Rio, and then start building up my career, going to a big agency, and then moving to São Paulo after a few years. So basically, that's how I started in this area.
Super interesting, and it's just always interesting to hear people's stories, because you all have to start somewhere, right? Like, and all have to start, you know, in a small, sometimes in a very unexpected company, but then, you know, build up from there, right? So it's really interesting to see.
And all experiences are valid. Like, even if you're coming from a different background, everything you learned, you're going to use at some point. So things I learned in the army, like how to shoot a gun. No, just kidding. I don't like guns. I'm against guns. But no, everything I learned, like, it enhanced my abilities, my perspective in the world, like my leadership, because in the army, they work with like leadership since the beginning. Like, you need to be a leader, even if you're just a soldier. You need to take care of your group, and teamwork is super important. And I also play hockey, which it's weird for a Brazilian, but this taught me a lot as well, like the teamwork, how to behave in an environment with pressure. So yeah, it's super great.
Yeah, how did you move to US? Like, how was the process? Like, because I know that it's a big move to go to São Paulo, even though if you are from Porto Alegre, you know, it's a big step, and then another big step to go, a bigger step, let's say, go to US. How was this whole process?
Do you know the big wall in Mexico? We jumped that. No, no. It was super hard. Actually, when we met each other, started working together, Lucas and I, we had this goal in common. Like, yeah, let's work abroad. This would be awesome. So first, we were at DDB Brazil, so we decided, let's try to have an experience abroad, like even during our vacations. So Lucas reached out to a bunch of people, but this guy replied in Miami, and he said, yeah, you can join here, you can work with us for 1 month. And we stayed in Miami at Alma DDB for 1 month, like learning, and it was a shock. Like, yeah, we really need to improve our English, we need to learn how the market works. Everything is different. Some things are similar, but yeah, of course the cultural aspect of it was super challenging for us. So we started from that point. We started like studying everything and getting prepared, and of course applying to all jobs, all positions, all openings. And eventually 6 years later, after trying a lot, this guy Ícaro Doria, he called us. Yeah, I'm going to Boston. I'm gonna be CCO at Hill Holiday, and I want you guys there. So for us was perfect.
It's funny because he brought us here, and a few months later, he told us, "Oh, actually, I'm going back to Brazil to reopen DM9." And I was like, "Oh my goodness, what should we do right now? Because we are here." But in fact, it was amazing for us because was what helped us to move to McCann, you know, and to move to New York. So it worked out, when he left, we could work in a different agency. We felt like, oh, now we are free to try new things even here. And this experience that we had at Hill, we worked there for almost 2 years. So I think we improved a lot in terms of getting to know the process, how people work, even the language as well. We are still learning, we're still improving, of course, but for us, it was a very important step that we took.
Nice. Let's talk about the big project that basically led you here, right? And we just want to maybe introduce yourself, in that sense, introduce how did you actually started thinking about this project with the Dalí commercial, right? Just talk a little bit about the process, how the idea came, and when did you decide to actually use AI for it?
Yeah, amazing. Actually, it was super was funny because we joined Goodby GSP, this agency we've been working on, and in the first week we had this invitation from Google, and they shared they shared an early access to their new tool VO to create videos, VO2. And they said they reached out to a few agencies, so it was like a pitch competition. So so we want you guys to use VO for one of your clients. So we started ideating, and we had a few ideas for a few clients, but Goodby they have this relationship with the Dalí Museum in Florida, and they've been doing great work for a few years. They started doing things with AI 5 years ago. The first project was an AR immersion, and then they created something with AI using Dalí's voice. He would reply to people and last year they did the same with a phone. He has a sculpture. There is a lobster phone, so people could call him and talk to him. So we thought, it's a perfect fit. Salvador Dalí is amazing, of course, and we have this client, so why not? So we started searching and looking for references, and the first thing we thought, that would be amazing if Dalí, because he was also a director, not just a painter. He was a 360 artist. He would write poetry. He would do everything. So we started searching. And it would be perfect if he had something, a script or a screenplay that he never produced. And we found out that he had actually. So, and it was called Giraffes on Horseback Salad. So even the name is interesting, super weird, all his work. So we started digging and finding out a bunch of interesting things about it. Of course, the screenplay wasn't available online, but Jeff Goodby, our boss and one of the founders of the agency, he reached out to the museum and told them the idea, and they sent to us the original screenplay. So okay, now we have gold. We have a masterpiece that was never produced, and it was impossible at the time. So that's this cool story that he wrote this screenplay in 1937, and he presented to a few studios like MGM. And MGM said, no, this is too surreal, too impossible. We can't produce these things. It's just crazy. In 1937, it was impossible. But nowadays, it's not easy, but you can prompt something crazy like a giraffe in flames and in the middle of the desert, and you will see this image really fast. So now it's possible with technology.
Compliment. I think what Kazuo said is perfect. Tells the whole story. But for us, using AI it's still a challenge. We didn't know what to expect, and we've seen some things that people have been producing, and some of them have been having a lot of people complaining a lot, about the use of AI. So we studied a few cases, to see how they were approaching it. And for us, in our case, in this specific idea, it made like a lot of sense because it's something surreal. We are not trying to mimic reality. We are not trying to replace anyone. We are trying to do something that was dead, was forgotten, and we're trying to bring something for people to see, like a piece of his work that was was lost. So I think like for us it was a very important thing that we thought before starting this project.
No, and this work would never exist without AI because it was a lost screenplay hidden. Actually, it was considered lost for 40 years, and then the museum found some historians. They could find some notes, and they could complete the whole screenplay based on his notes. But imagine it was like in the museum, hidden. No one knew about it, and now because of AI, it's possible to do it. And if you read the descriptions, everything would be like a $10 million production. I don't know. No, much more, much more. It's a huge. It would be a Hollywood movie, and to do one of these, of course, it would take a lot of effort and time. But now we did it in a few months. So yeah, it's amazing.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's crazy. We are talking about two people actually. We have of course a team work with us, but like the creatives just two people. So I think this shows a lot of the potential of the tool, and that's why we thought it was a perfect match.
How many pages does the original script has? Like, and did you need to adapt the text to the screen, like for the 1 minute commercial? How was it the process?
So actually, it's not a whole screenplay. It's more like notes. So it's 8 pages, only 8 pages, and but it has a lot of descriptions, and we had to organize a little bit. It's kind of loose thoughts and description about the characters. So we organized a little bit, but we wanted to be very, very loyal to it. We didn't want to create anything. We want to use Salvador Dali's idea and just produce it. So we kept the original lines from the screenplay, and we just like selected the best one to create a narrative. So it's only Dali's words.
Yeah, the only things that we added was just some sentences like to transition to the other scene, like just to have this sequence. And for this, we use AI as well. Like we use all his language, and we fed like with the interviews with a lot of stuff, just to capture like what exactly he would say or the way he would say it.
can I ask? Is because there's a voiceover, right, which seems to be his voice. Did you clone the voice as well using AI, or is like somebody
Yes.
depicting? So did you clone the voice?
So the museum had this project using Dali's voice. Like they've been using it for a few years, and so they had a clone already. They did using 11 Labs. So we had it, and we decided, yeah, it would be great to have his voiceover. Of course, why not?
So just try to unpack a little bit the whole process, right? So okay, you had the script. You of course had this idea. Then you start looking into, okay, of course Google came to you with the access to the tool, and this tool is basically I've tried Google VO2, and then it's actually pretty good. Like it's from an AI video generation, is actually the results are pretty good. So I'm quite impressed. But just to try to understand what kind, which, what are how was the workflow, right? What kind of tools did you have to edit as well? So the moment from the inception of the idea, and then okay, now we have the idea, we have the script, we're gonna execute. So how did it go? How long did it take as well?
No, and it's great to clarify because it looks simple, but it's not. And it was not just Lucas and I. There's a team working on it, and it's a big team. It's not a huge team like in a traditional production, but we have a good team working on it. And it was like the whole process was like this. And we used AI in all process, all steps. So first, the research, and we used a lot of, because it was a Google project, we used all Google tools. So yeah, Gemini to search for, even for the screenplay, like for this story, like yeah, asking Gemini, does Salvador Dalí has a screenplay that he never produced? And he said, yeah, of course. He had Giraffes on Horseback Salad. Okay, great. So yeah, using again Gemini to translate the screenplay, original screenplay, and to transform it into a narrative. Of course, we always need to edit something, but it's super helpful, especially for us Brazilians. Like, and he wrote it in 1937, so the language is super sophisticated. So it has a lot of words we didn't know. And then image is a whole process because I started in some scenes. There are more than 200 scenes. So in some of them, it would be super easy just prompting directly on Veo, but some of them would require some image as reference. So we used Imagen3, their Google's image generator, and also like Photoshop, like comping stuff. Like, yeah, let's grab the sculpture of the lobster phone, for example, and generate an image on Imagen3 and comp it together on Photoshop, and then use this as reference to create a scene. So yeah, each scene demanded a different process. So for example, when we shared the first time with clients, with the people at the museum, they said, "Oh, it's wonderful. Oh, it's beautiful," and maybe for them it looked like too easy. Oh, they did it like in less than 1 month. So let me ask something like, can you have a camera spinning around and showing all the guests in the dinner because there's this dinner party? And we said, no, it's not easy like that. You can't have this type of control. But of course, we spent a whole day doing it, and we were able to do something similar, like generating a bunch of scenes and comping it together on After Effects. So yeah, using a lot of editing tools and whatnot. So yeah, it almost everything is possible if you use all tools available. So after like generating all the videos, we would go to editorial. So yeah, editing, and then the whole sound process was kind of different because aside from his voice that we did using AI, the whole sound will have to be original. At the time, we didn't have many tools to create music. Nowadays, they have, even Google has Google Music, I think. You can create music. But we wanted like really, really crafted sound design, even because the museum is like showing it in a 360 dome with a immersive sound. So we needed the channel separated. So it had to be human crafted. So we reached out to this amazing studio in Brazil, Bubble Beat, and we told them about the story. Lucas and Tanji are the guys responsible for the sound and sound effects and music. And when they heard about it, they said, "No, we want to do everything original." So it's 17 minutes of film with 10 tracks, I think, 10 original tracks and sound design and everything. So the sound is amazing. And it was great to have this the help from these guys. And for editorial, we did the first version just to present internally and to clients, but of course we wanted something more premium, more professional. So we again reached out to some friends in Brazil, always in Brazil, and Daniel Levenhagen is a great friend. He's a amazing director, and he owns this editorial company, and they do editorial and post-production. So again, he saw the project and he said, "Of course, man, I want to join it. I want to do it. I want to work on it." And they added like cool transitions, the pacing of the film. They fixed a lot of things we didn't know how to do it. So yeah, thankfully we had these vendors like willing to work with us in this project.
Hi, if you're enjoying this episode, if this podcast has sparked something in you, made you think differently, or simply kept you company today, please consider leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts. It doesn't cost anything, but it means the world to us. Your support helps us reach more people and continue investing in content that inspires, informs, and gives it back to you. We appreciate your support. Thank you.
I just want to say something because when we think about AI, we don't think about something that is crafted, but actually it is very crafted. As Kazuo was explaining, there's this whole process before generating the video itself that you have to do yourself, that you have to go there, like do like a lot of research, like trying to find the correct information so it can be translated in the best version, like in terms of images. And even like the videos, when you're generating a bunch of videos at the same time. Like in the beginning it was 2 videos, then it became 4 videos at the same time. So we have to curate the work. So this is the craft part of the process that we have to be very attentive to, like have to be very specific on the scenes that you're getting, like you're generating. So yes, it's AI facilitates it a lot. It speeds up the process a lot, but you also have this human aspect that it like someone who will select the images, the videos,
You have to. Sorry to interrupt you. You can go right after. Just wanted to compliment. So basically, there's a lot of, you have to also find the artistic direction, right? The aesthetics, how this will look like. Even though it's surrealistic, there's a lot of room for exploration. You still have to be cohesive and coherent in the way it looks. So I can imagine there's a lot of research prior to actually executing. And I think there's also, just to double down what you just said, it's a lot of misconception that working with AI is just pressing a button, writing a prompt, and then it's done. Like, no, there's a lot of work also involved into actually getting to a final result that everybody's pleased with. So it makes sense.
As we use technology, we see that actually the most important part of the process is before prompting, because then the best prompt generates the best results. So
Yeah, the biggest challenge in AI is consistency. Now a lot of tools are fixing this. You can pick image style, statics, and character references. But like a few months ago, when it started, 6 months ago, we didn't have this. So it was super challenging, like generating 100 options just to find the most similar person in the image to use it. And even as you said, Danny, the whole aspect of the visual language, this was a lot of research. And so the whole process before producing the film was pretty much the same as a traditional production. We created like storyboards for each scene, like and like discussing, no, let's use a different visual language for this scene here because it's more dreamlike, so let's create something more crazy. Or in this one, let's use Salvador Dali's paintings as reference and create something in 3D that it's more super surreal and crazy. And this other one, no, let's make it very, very realistic because it's more it's supposed to be like this. So for each one, we had to have the right references and prompting the right words to have the exact style in the image. So yeah, it was kind of a nightmare. But of course, comparing to traditional production was we can't even compare.
Yeah. We're kind of getting close to the end. I just wanted to say that we want to talk a little bit about ethical implications of that, of using AI, and then maybe what are clients' perspectives from agencies using that. But before we go to that, I would like to just ask if you use any upscaler, because a lot of these image generation videos are very low resolution, and then in order to get a better Full HD or 4K, you need to use an upscaler.
Yeah, we used. So first, I would like to say something that people think, oh, AI is easy. The person they are replacing a bunch of people. No. We had a great team working on it, and aside like Lucas and I, Jeff Goodby, the partner, was super involved. He wrote a few lines, like he helped us shaping the script, the voiceover, and everything. And we had like Martin, the director of technology at Goodby. His team is amazing. Sean and Severin, the production guy who worked like really hard on it, and like Morgan and Meredith on PR and accounts. So there are a lot of people involved, and we're not replacing people. People are still needed and essential to the work. But yeah, for example, upscale, we have, because we are Omnicom, we are part of a big group like Omnicom. They have a lot of tools. They have something that is called Omni AI, and they have a bunch of tools we can use. So yeah, we upscaled it using our own tools from the group. So that was essential. Yeah.
And then before you said that you both like use all the Google tools. Did you use like before that? Have you already used any AI tools in your work or in your personal life that you like said like, okay, use Mid Journey, and then it's similar to Google, I don't know, image creation. How was it the transition between these other tools and Google
Yeah.
tools? I know a lot of questions, but can
No,
you
no, it's
talk a
great.
little
It's
bit?
great because, well, since I don't know, a few years ago when they started talking about AI, we felt like, yeah, we need to try this. So we started trying all the tools. I think I used pretty much all of them. But on my daily routine, I use a lot of Mid Journey, because for me it's easier to control the everything, because it was the first one I started learning. So nowadays it's easier, I think. And ChatGPT all the time. ChatGPT for everything. It's super helpful. Even it's funny. I had an issue with my shower. It wasn't getting hot, so I didn't know what to do. It's the whole system is different here in the U.S. In Brazil, you would like do a few stuff, like put a few wires together and that's it. But here is different. The whole machinery. So I took a picture and I uploaded to ChatGPT. Hey, it's my water is like cold. What can I do to fix it? And he gave me the instructions step by step. I did it. It was super simple, but it saved me at least $200. So yeah, I've been using for everything.
You know that that's gonna be the quote, that because you usually promote the podcast. You know how people are using AI. This is gonna be the quote: "How to fix your shower using ChatGPT."
Exactly.
Thanks for
Yeah.
that.
No, and Lucas has some good examples as well. He uses for everything.
Yeah, I've been using a lot. It's an amazing tool, especially for me, my case, ChatGPT, and I think, well, as a copywriter, like everything you need to write in English, so it's difficult sometimes, like especially in terms of vocabulary, like some things that you have to be like have to like detail, like, and it helps us a lot. I think like it made us, or it's making us like more competitive, even more competitive. And now it's very funny because I'm not like a very tech person. Kazuo is way more than me. But even like now generating images on ChatGPT has been amazing. I've been like been able to comp like some storyboards, something like things that I haven't done before. So it's kind of like really, really good. And as Kazu said, like for basic stuff, like I use it a lot, like to plan my weekly food, like my weekly meals. And I do this. I put like all the recipes, for example, and then I get all the ingredients that I need to buy with all the amount of food, all amount of each ingredient that I have to buy as well. Like, and then you can divide and you find, oh, what is the best grocery for me to go and spend less money. So like this kind of thing, like you can like the whole process can be done using AI and helps a lot, a lot, a lot. So, yeah.
A crazy powerful tool, or tools, where it serves different purposes.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I use ChatGPT for everything, and it's crazy how useful it is. And it was about you. As like, for example, I saw some guys in marketing saying that ChatGPT gives you some results. For example, if you are writing, if for a copywriter and you need some phrases or advertisement phrases, that ChatGPT can give you a base. Like for example, if you are really bad, it kind of improves your work. But if you are good, and as I imagine that you are both really good in what you're doing, it kind of makes your work easier, or you can have some average and then you improve it. You know what I mean? Like, so how was your process with that tool, like using ChatGPT, like in this case of marketing?
It's great. It's speeding up the whole process. So we would spend like 10 hours looking for information and researching about the brand. Now it's instantly. So we just prompted, yeah, I want to know more about this brand. I want to know more about this product. So yeah, let's start writing some stuff. It's like you have an assistant and it's the smartest person in the world. Like, and you can ask anything, and you can work together. And it's amazing. It's having, as I said, a very, very smart person collaborating with you. So you can use in everything.
I'm going to give you a practical example that we did before starting working at Goodby Silverstein, because we are creative directors and we work for BMW. It's our biggest client. And for me, it was like, how am I going to study this client, before getting there? So I started like just asking a bunch of things in AI, and I built this almost roadmap. I can't say that you can call it like a guideline or something like this about the brand, but it was like really, really helpful. You go like in your mind and you can go crazy and ask, oh, what about the name of the cars? How do they name the cars? And it's gonna answer you. So like you don't have to wait to get the information. You can go after and find interesting things that you can explore even more, and then you go deep and like go deeper and deeper.
Can you imagine working without AI since now that you've been using it a lot?
So I like to say that for the first time, being an art director has been fun, because before that was a struggle, like spending hours comping something on Photoshop, and the result wasn't great. And now it's like in a few minutes you have something amazing that you will never be able to do it. So for the first time, being an art director is fun. And I imagine the same for copywriters. When we moved to the US was a nightmare. Of course, we were learning the language, learning everything, learning the culture. They would say things about Boston that we had no idea, like, oh, that guy that plays violin in downtown, and everybody in the room, yeah, of course, that guy, so classic, so let's use it for a commercial, blah, blah. So hey guys, wait, we just moved from Brazil, have zero background, and we're talking about a guy that has been in downtown Boston for a long time, but we have no idea. We don't even know downtown because it was pandemic. We were like walking around. So now it's just like, yeah, who is this guy? We ask ChatGPT or any AI tool, and will give us the whole background of this person. So yeah,
it's just impossible not using AI these days. It's just impossible. 2 years ago, I found out that I have this hearing loss. Like this is a condition that I developed it like without knowing, of course. Kazuo was the one telling me, Lucas, you're not hearing very well. It's funny because this is what happens. People around you tell you before you even notice. But for me, it was very challenging. And for example, now I can use AI to help me a lot. So I record some important meetings, then I go to the transcript. I just upload the file to ChatGPT and or ask the main points, about the meeting, or something very specific about what someone said, and just like, oh, can you find this information? And I'm gonna find it for you. So it's amazing, like it's amazing. Yeah, and of course the language as well. Like we use it like 24/7 basically. So even like sometimes I want to like plan. For example, we had to go to New York for this meeting, and I didn't know what to do. Like, what was the best time to fly, because I had to like leave my dog with Kazu's wife, and it was like, oh my goodness, I have to find this. How am I gonna do this? And I just like use the voice tool and asked ChatGPT to help me with the schedule and just give me, oh, for you the best plan would be leaving, flying this time, so you have to leave home this time to leave your dog there. Like blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh my goodness, it's so much easier than it was in the past. So why not using this and make your life better? You know.
I think we can talk about this other example in another episode because I just thought about it. At McCann, we worked for Microsoft in a few projects, and the last one was super interesting. They are using AI to track the whole Amazon rainforest, the whole like Brazilian and Colombian part. They started in Colombia, and with microphones and cameras and everything, they can collect data and they know everything that is happening real time. So it's amazing because in the past they had this, but it would take like, imagine, like recording a whole night of sounds in the Amazon, and someone had to listen to it and like transcribe it manually. It would take years, 10 years. And now the computer does it automatically, so they know what's happening. If they hear some sounds of birds flying away from an area, they know something's happening there. They can see with the cameras, and they know there's a fire or there's illegal activity or something like this. So it's the use of AI is amazing, and we don't even realize how important it is and how impactful it will be. You guys know better because you talk about this every week. But for us, it was a shock. Like, yeah, man, this is gonna save the world. It's amazing.
Cool. I just had one small question about the Google View too. Like, you said that you use some images at some point to like pre-made images and then animated that. And did you use any prompt to video? How was the like? Did you use like a mix of everything? How?
Yeah, first, well, for image we used Imagen 3, the Google generator. It's like the Midjourney, but Google's brand. And we started like looking for references in the world, like we do in traditional productions. Like, oh, let's use like 70s movies as references because it was surreal, but it was practical. So it has this almost theatrical aspect. We wanted this, so we started like searching for these references. But for each scene was different, but I'm telling just one. And we would use these references to generate new ones on Imagen 3, and then even using Gemini to describe this image I just generated. And then it would give us a lot of words and adjectives to use on a prompt for the video. So yeah, we had to do all this process, and having AI for it was the only way because it would take years without it. So yeah.
And there's even a specific scene that is really fun. This dinner scene. There's like that he actually made it for real, like in a party. You know, like he created this scene. Like it was his wife lying on a bed, but it was actually like a table, and like people would eat, and there were frogs. It's really, really different, you know, like not unusual, not unexpected. And yeah, so like for this, for example, we had this real prompt from Salvador Dali, you know.
Yeah, if you Google it and search for Salvador Dali's surrealist dinners, you will find a lot of images. He used to do these dinners, these dinner parties back then in 1937, 1940s, and we used a lot of images from real parties to prompt and as reference because he described these dinners in the screenplay. So yeah, we had the references. And of course using a lot of paintings from Salvador Dali because he had this almost how can I say, he had a lot of paintings using giraffes in flames. So one of them is like Flaming Giraffes, the name, super famous. And so he had this obsession with this image. And a lot of his work we tried to use as reference for the film, of course.
Nice. Did you now getting into, because I think one of the biggest things with AI and using AI image generations these days is copyright, or who owns these images, right? It's because if you look at the Midjourney's, user agreement, you basically don't own anything that it generates, which is pretty weird, and I think scares a lot of people, not knowing that basically you don't own that. So how did you handle that, and how is how what is the agency position, and how do you
Yeah.
how do you explaining that to clients?
So that was the main differential of the tool. Google said you have all the copyrights, you can use all the images you generate inside the platform. So that's why you used only Google tools. And yeah, they fixed this. I don't know how. I don't know the legal implications, but they did it. I know Midjourney has no control because they source from everywhere. They get references from everywhere. But Google, they had this huge database, the biggest in the world. So yeah, they have all the rights for all the images.
And there's an advantage from this project the client, in general, you have the client and you hire the celebrity, whatever. In this case, like the client is the artist, so it's easier because we had his material and we can use it because it's his material. So it helps us a lot in this specific process.
Perfect. And I was about to ask, like, how was the reaction of the audience, like, through this whole like video and the whole commercial, because it was such a nice like video. Like...
I divide the people who are commenting everything that we do in AI. There are like two types of people. The ones that use AI and they love it, they see the potential, they know this is changing the world, and the ones that don't use it and they are super against it, and they like complain, oh, you should do it in a practical way. Yeah, but that would be impossible. We wouldn't have this option. So this was the only way to produce this. And for these people, I only think about when like they created we started using internet, and some people would say, "Oh, this is gonna pass. The internet's not forever." Or Photoshop. Oh no, you're replacing real artists that do it like handcraft paintings and whatnot. No, there's a new tool available. It's like when 3D came, was the same discussion. Oh my God, you're gonna replace real people? No. There's 3D. There's practical shooting, and there's another option, AI. It's just more and more tools. You can combine all of them and create something amazing. That's it.
Perfect. Yes, yeah. For us, it's very clear that it's another tool that we have access. It's another possibility. Even a few years, I think we will see a bunch of new artists that only generate images or videos using AI. They will be AI artists, and they will be criticized to be AI artists. So we try to be very open. We heard some critics, people like saying that it's like not his work, but the way we see it is more like it's a possibility. We're just one in millions, in numerous possibilities. You're just bringing something to life. It's not like final work. Even I think Salvador Dalí would try new things because this is the way he used to work. He was very unpredictable, so he was always trying to do different things to scare people to, so yeah. And we are we have the client supporting us and the agency, so we felt very comfortable with the idea of creating it.
Yeah, another thing that was amazing having like this partnership with Google is like, of course, the size of the company. So they launched the idea in Vegas in a huge event, like the Google Next event for thousands of people. So we were able to see it going live in this amazing event. So having this partnership was super amazing. They are now talking about the project again in another conference here in California. So yeah, it's just perfect.
Yeah, it will also be presented at Cannes Festival. So it's the hugest creativity festival advertising. So for us, it's a dream. It's a surreal dream coming to life.
And that's coming soon, right? Cannes is like around the corner, right? Isn't it in June? Ah, awesome. So we're reaching the end. There's two things I want to do. I want you to ask you. So, what if somebody's starting out now in advertising or as a creative, and now these AI tools are booming? What would be your advice to people that are starting out now, and then what they should do? Should they invest time in learning these tools? Which would you recommend? And what is also important to know in regards to the craft, not just the tools that you use?
Yeah, I always recommend people to test all the tools available, but at the same time, don't forget the craft, how to learn how to do the real process, because then you can use this knowledge to mimic reality in the AI tools. Like, learn how to do something, I don't know, with a stamp or with painting or calligraphy in like for real, and then you learn the behavior of the tools, the actual tools, and then you can mimic in a better way using AI or anything else. So getting the hands dirty is still important, and learning the process, and having this tool to speed up everything later. It's the best use, I think.
Yeah, we encourage people to keep studying, everything. So study like the tools and study the sources, because this, as Kazuo said, is the best way for you to manage the new tools and replicate and mimic anything that you want, because the more normal analogic process of the thing. And I think like we're probably like the same age, and I think like it's a advantage of our generation, because we were able to see things in a different world, and we transition to this new world. And I think like we can ask better questions, because we used to do the old way, like. So I don't know,
It's funny.
for us it's everything's in like possibilities, and if you have more possibilities, why like not using it?
It's funny, we wrote a book a few years ago in Portuguese to help like young creatives or people who are starting in advertising. So it's 128 advices and tips for people who are starting. And when we translated this year, now we just launched it in English, we had to replace one to keep like 128 to add like learn AI, because AI is now everywhere. But 2 years ago it wasn't in our book, so we had to add this chapter in our book. It's funny.
And the book's a very good example, because we used ChatGPT to help us to translate to English this one thing, and to upload the book as well, like the on Amazon. The whole process we did use an AI to help us to see if like everything we were doing was correct. We were like doing the right thing, and if we had an issue, we would check with ChatGPT. Oh, is it correct? What I'm doing wrong? Just take a picture. Like
Yeah.
submit, see the
So
answer.
the same process without AI to publish a book in Brazil, it took us almost a year. Here it took us a day. With the Amazon system and process, everything automated. It's amazing, super easy and fast.
It was awesome to have this conversation here today, and thanks for being here. And then, can you tell the audience where people can find you online?
Yeah, thanks for the invitation. This was amazing. We love podcasts. We listened to a few episodes. We'll keep listening and learning about AI. So thanks for doing this. I think it's helping a lot, sharing all this knowledge. And please go find us on LinkedIn and Instagram, whatever. And you can, if you have any questions about the project or anything else, just shoot us a message and we'll reply for sure.
I just want to say thank you again. It's an honor. It's a privilege to be here talking about this project and the process. It was new for us, so we learned a lot, and hopefully it's gonna help a few people like to test new things and try out.